Well, good evening. This is the third time I've tried to do this review. My computer, it keeps on falling out on me. If it falls out again, I'm not going to bother. I might try tomorrow or something. Now, very quickly, going back to last Saturday, we had a meeting. The provincial meeting was at Newcastle. The track there was good. The rail was in the normal position, and there was no bias on the track. No bias. You could lead or come from behind. We went to Canterbury on Wednesday, where the track was good. We've had very little rain. Only on the we had a little bit of rain on the close to the coast last night. But in the last few weeks, the weather has been very warm in Sydney because the wind's been coming out of the northeast or northwest. And the track was good at Canterbury on Wednesday. The rail was 8 metres out, and when you are watching you video watchers and those who are interested, if you happen to be able to watch the tape of Canterbury, freeze them on the turn, have a look at where the running rail is, and then look at the grass inside it, that you can see how noticeably the track is cambered. It falls away. One would think, of course, if when it rained, all that water would keep on trickling down to the inside. The drainage system at Canterbury is extremely good. Both sides of the track, when you get down near the fence, you can see both sides of the track where there are lovely big cement drains where the track is, the water just gets through it fairly quickly. But you would think when the track is wet, the inside would be no good, but it's not the case at Canterbury. Even when it's wet, the fence is by far the best. The rail was out the 8 metres, and not one leader got home. 50 to 1 chance in the first race that led ran second, beaten 0.8 of a length. The Avery beating it, who sat on the south side, but not a leader to win, which is very unusual for Canterbury. Best was to be off the pace and coming wide in the straight. There were some runners who were on the fence during the race that were able to ease off the fence on the point of the turn or before, get around heels, come down the outside, and that was the place to be at Canterbury on Wednesday. We went to Kembla Grange on Thursday. Myself and 3 other captains from the city. We went down and worked. The captains who generally work at Kembla of a Saturday, not one of them were to be seen, and they had us stuck in the bar, 2 down one end and 2 up the other end. There were a few people in the bar, and also where there's a food outlet, you can only look through. You can look through the glass where the horses parade. But we had 2 pros there who absolutely garroted the captains. They backed plenty of winners. One of them from 11 to 2 to 11 to 4. I did a shite house full on that race, and it trotted in by 4 lengths. The track at Kembla on well, the other the punters that were in the bar, they didn't exist. They were betting in pennies, nickels and dimes, absolute nickels and dimes. Not a punter in the joint besides the 2 pros. The track was good, good 3. The rail was 8 metres out. It looked as if early in the day the fence might have been a little bit iffy, but it wasn't the case to be. You could lead on the fence or come from well back, wide down the outside, as did the last winner in a 1500 metre race after missing the kick. Came widest on the turn, copped a check, and was still able to round them up. No bias on the track. There was a runner there in the first race called Shooting to Win, having its first start. I suppose, like everybody else would think, when it is produced in town, it will have a very good chance. It was a fairly good win after missing the kick. We got to Rosehill today. Now, the track was good. The rail was 3 metres out, and there was a very light breeze, maybe from the northeast or northwest, or possibly from the west. It didn't matter. It had no effect on the races, the results of the races. The rail was 3 metres out, as I say. Now, in this first race, after watching the first race, there were plenty of pros and plenty of their followers who said the fence is the place to be here, and there most certainly wasn't anything wrong with the fence all day. But after watching the first 2 races, it wasn't an advantage to be leading on the fence, because there were plenty of there were runners that came from well back in the field. I thought the track played very fair. The first race, after finding the lead after a few furlongs, 2 or 3 furlongs, after 2 furlongs, was the winner, Sniper Fire, who drew barrier 8 in a field of 8, ridden by the pumper, 3 kilos off the pumper when he's in the lead. It was able to roll along in front without being pressured. The stablemate was riding Shotgun, that was Country Warrior from barrier 9, from barrier 7 in a field of 8, sitting second on the outside of Diggler, who was tucked away behind the leader on the fence, and as I say, able to dictate in front of the pumper, and it was up to the favourite, Brazen Moss, to come from last after not missing the kick, but coming out, as it always does, just a little bit behind them, making up a lot of ground to only go down by half a length. The way the race was run was the difference in the race. If there was a little bit more pace here, we might have seen the equal favourite or favourite Brazen Moss round the leader up, but it wasn't the case, and it went down by half a length. As I say, on the screen here, they said there was 109, a neat 109 in the marketplace, 10% less. Big difference. You know, the robots, a captain came and grabbed hold of me. He said, "Oh, I read that thing that you wrote on your website about." I said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "I just went downstairs and saw one of these robots working downstairs." He said, "There's 400 punters down, 500 punters still down there after the last, all merry, betting away interstate, and of course I would have been betting on the locals all day." We've got up in the marketplace at Rosehill, Rosehill is completely and utterly fly blown. Out of the 4 city tracks, it is the one that just keeps on going backwards, Rosehill. We've got no players in the main ring except the pros and the dozen to 15 Greek card players who follow them. They're the only people who are in the marketplace, and so it is a very tough school. And as I say, 10% less in the marketplace to what you could have got on the screen. The stablemate to the winner of the first race, Country Warrior, would the owners of Country Warrior please step forward? They never came forward. $4.60 out to 13 to 2, $7.50. Brazen Moss $4.60, $4.40 out to $4.60, back into $4, even taken towards the end of betting. Cremont, you wouldn't see it, $13 and $12. The best luck, they said, was $8.50. It started about $9, $8.50. Exalted Warrior, put it up the favourite, $3.70 out to $4. You wouldn't see it, back into $3.80, back to $4. Diggler, 25 out to 40. Sniper Fire, $6.50 bet about this runner. Started 6 on my board. Best price, I think, best luck was $5.50. After they took the $6.50 early, they took the $6, and you could have even laid this runner at $5.50. But it did start 6, got out towards the end of betting. Kevlar was 17 out to 21, back into 18, and Loved Up 15 out to 17, back into 16. The way the race was run was the deciding factor. Race 2, they said there was 104 on the screen, a neat 100 in the marketplace, and very similar to the first. After velodroming from barrier 9 in a field of 10, trained by Waller, again, this time, this runner, winner ridden by Jay Collette. Early in the piece, from barrier 1, Papillon Rouge was able to kick up, hold that position. The runner was on us outside early, Miss Tenpins, who finished up in the 1-1 position, was most probably the undoing of this favourite, Sugar Rush, because it was on the outside of Papillon Rouge early, out 3 wide, looking at the Mademoiselle, half velodroming, finished up crossing the pair, then Papillon Rouge getting on its outside its heels, and on its back was Miss Tenpins, and tucked away after that happened was Kiwi Kate from barrier 3, and it went from $10 out to 26, back into 18, Kiwi Kate. But as I say, Miss Tenpins, who they said they were going to ride it more forward today, could easily have been the undoing of this favourite, because if it didn't go forward, there's every chance that Sugar Rush would have lobbed into the 1-1 position where Miss Tenpins finished up running. But instead, he had to go. He tried to go forward early and was trapped wide. He had to go back, was awkwardly placed, copped a bit of a prat, which didn't cost him any ground. Did make up ground in the straight to only go down by 1 length. As I say, the way the race was run was the difference between winning and losing, very similar to the first race. After they had sought out their positions going about 2 or 3 furlongs, it was like Harold Park trots. They raced in pairs back to the tail ender, which was Vocalise, who never passed a run and was beaten 9 lengths. In that race, as I say, there was 4 less than what showed on the screen. In this next race was the worst percentage-wise race for bookmakers all day. 97.2 on the screen. The robots, they would have been in there in their grandstands, betting the members and public, saying, what are those imbecile captains, especially me, doing out in that marketplace, only betting 97.2? Well, there was a couple less in the marketplace, 95.5. But you blase, every bet you laid would have been all right. By the same token here, the winner was the favourite, Anavotio. It went up the 5-2 favourite, got out to $3.60 only, or maybe 70, but then was crunched by the pros into 3.30, not long after betting had gone, or a third of the way through the betting, into 9-4. But then after a couple of runners, and I'll get to them, were sensationally back, bookies reached for the winner again, and it was $3.70 or $3.80 towards the end of betting, unlayable. Kadiro, as I said, with the owner step forward, they never ever did. Kadiro was $5 out to $7. The half stablemate, Knight Templar, the top weight trained by Clary, his son Mark, Knight Templar, it was well backed. $7.50 out to $9.50, back into $6.50, sat in 4th position, looking at the tearaway leaders. I'll get to that, the way the race is run in a minute. It dropped out, ran last, beaten 15 lengths, went disgracefully. Anavotio, as I said, 350 out to 360.70, back into 330, but back out to 380. Now the next runner, Scat Cat, extremely well backed, $5 out to $8, back into $4.80. So it was 7s to 15 to 4. Skarsgård, a runner that didn't have a price, $6 out to 11 or 12 wood. Skarsgård's owners, please step forward. They never did. Not a caser for it. The next runner, Blackboard Special, who raced outside the leader, raced very keenly and greenly, hung in the straight. Vet said nothing wrong with it. It's got a trial before it starts, next start, and is going for a spell now. It was $4.20 out to $5 you wouldn't see, back into $4.20, and 50 out to 90 ISO Rich. Now, Kadiro led with Blackboard Special coming across from the outside alley, field of 7, making it race. They were a good 5 lengths back it was another 5 lengths back to Knight Templar, and then another good break to Scat with Scat Cat with Skarsgård on the south side, and then we had the winner, and running last was the roughie in the race. When they turned for home, or before they turned for home, about the 600 metre mark, the pumper started to make his move on the winner, came wide on the turn. When Blackboard Special hung out under pressure, he got inside it, and it ran away and won by 2.3 lengths. I wish they'd run the race again, because it absolutely trotted him. You'd take a lot shorter than the 11 to 4 that it started. In race 4, another race where the robots, they're absolutely blessed, aren't they? 106.7 on the screen. In the marketplace, 10% less, 96.5. These were the flux. Mount Nebo, $4.60 out to $6, which you wouldn't see, back into $5. Ernest, 8 out to 11, back into 10. Wild and Proud, 50 out to 100. We had Cerberus, $8.50 out to $11, back into 10. The next runner, who they said they were going to ride forward, Q Fighter, $8 out to $12, back into 11. The winner, Cradle Me, 6 to 4 the field, we said to start off with. We reached for it. A mile, they said the 280 was the best luck. A blind man with a cane, he got $3. Then we had Faustus, didn't have a price, 16 out to 41, not a penny for it. The best luck cost $21. The next runner, You'll Never, 5 out to $6, 5 out to $7, back into $5, back out to $5.50, 30 out to 60, Attaboy Ross back into 50. And when the gates opened, there was a runner in front here by 3/4 of a length, and that was the favourite who drew the outside alley here, barrier 9 in the field of 9. I thought, like most did, it would be back in the running second last, ease back from its position, or running second last, Cradle Me, and coming down the outside. But it sat outside Mount Nebo, who most had leading on their maps. They said that Q Fighter was going to race more closer today, but it finished up running in third last position, trapped 3 wide all the way. It did make up ground, but beaten easily 3.3 lengths. After this, favourite Cradle Me sat outside the leader, and they never went hard. It travelled sweetly for cool Christian Reef. After they turned for home, it got past Mount Nebo, who gave in very quickly. It was a very poor effort, and after getting a charm run on the back of the favourite was You'll Never, but was always held, never ever going to catch it up the straight, beaten 1.3 lengths. And as I said, Q Fighter was trapped wide in the run, Q Fighter, and did make up plenty of ground, beaten 3.3, and Ernest, who came from last, ran 4th in the race. A lot less on the percentage on the in the marketplace, what you saw on the screen. Race 5, 102.6 on the screen, only 98 in the marketplace. And here we saw the very well back Timeless Prince, who sat back in third last position, round them up down the outside and win by 0.2 of a length from coming off its back, a clear last, Frozen Rope, who likes it nice and wet and also a longer journey, only going down by, as I say, 0.2 of a length. And most probably the unlucky favourite, Longshoreman, who Mark Sheen said sweated up today a bit. He noticed behind the barrier before they jumped, which is a little bit unusual for it. And unfortunately for Jay Kizik, the 3 kilo boy, when they jumped, Our Desert Warrior, I Own the Lead, trained by Gay, went straight to the lead. After opening out $6, got out to 8, but back into 7, back out to 7.50 to start that price. It led with the 150 to 1 chance Letchworth on its outside, and unfortunately for favourite backers, Longshoreman was trapped 3 wide outside those runners. He raced in that position to the turn, was able to get past the 2 leaders after straightening, but after sitting wide and even pushed a little bit wider on the turn by Flying Bay, who was behind it and then got inside it, and as I say, nudged it a little bit wider on the turn. It was able to get clear, not clear, but get past the leaders. But the wide run and that little nudge on the turn was the difference between winning and losing. It finished up running third, only beaten 0.4 of a length, and those 3 runners got away from all of the others. So they were by far the best runs in that race. The flux here, as I say, was only 98% in the marketplace. The favourite, Longshoreman, we put it up $3.60, got out to $3.80, 4 in the outside ring, $3.90 I saw in the fence, was into $3.30 towards the end of betting, even $3.10, got back out to $3.20 towards the end of betting, and started that price. The next runner, Rugged Cross, who copped a very, very bad check trying to get in between runners, should have finished a lot closer. It went up a $6.50 chance, 11 to 2, got out to $8.50, back into $7.50 towards the end of betting. As I say, it should have finished a lot closer. After copping that Pratt, it was eased down, beaten 8.3 lengths, running second last. The winner, Flying Bay is the next runner, $4.60, would the owners of Flying Bay please step forward? They never ever did. At the finish of betting, it was $6.50 on my board and on the fence. I don't think it'll be returned that price. It'll be returned less. The winner, Flying Timeless Prince, after opening up $6, was reached for, got out to $8, which you wouldn't see. And it was $8 on the fence, but it was only a 9-2 chance when the starter said go. So it was 7 to 9-2, extremely well backed. Miss Senzella didn't have a price, $10 out to $26, 9s to 25s. Akamas, 30 out to 50, back into 30. We had Adora Bill, who was well backed at one stage, whatever you wanted, at $13. I think a late 6,500 at one stage. $8 out to 13, back into $11, back out to 12 when betting finished, and $80 out to 150. Letchworth, favourite, a bit unlucky. First three were the best runs. Race 6, if this cuts out again, I'll fair income. Race 6, 106.8 on the screen, only 98.5 in the marketplace. And here, the result of this race was governed by the way the race was run and the run the winner got, because it was an 1,800 metre race and there was only a short run to the first turn, and it's easy now, but they were, I don't think, ever going to make it easy for the young apprentice T. Marshall from barrier 9 in a field of 12. As I say, with that short run to the first turn, they kept him wide to the first turn, and he was made a good bit of use of, as Mark Sheen commented twice in the run, to get outside the leader, Keep Cool, who was very easy in the betting towards the end of betting, just to finally get outside it. And he sat in that position to the turn. Getting up, sitting in right behind the leader on the fence was the 80 to 1 chance, Kirtley, and the expected leader here, Transonic, was ridden, as it turned out, a perfection ride by the pumper, after forcing the favourite to be 3 wide in the first turn, lobbed into the 1-1 position, eased around its heels, turning for home, racing up to the leader, Keep Cool, who gave in fairly ordinarily. And once he was able to get past Keep Cool, he didn't run away and set up a big lead, but he was going strongly, and he kept it going to only win by 0.2 of a length from the very fast finishing Casino Dancer, who you wouldn't see. $20 was given in the outside ring, $16 and $17 on the fence, back for an absolute shite house by one of the pros, into start only 14, hard to get. And when they got to the when they were about the 1,000 metre mark, we had the first 8 runners in this race racing in pairs, and then the other 4 runners were headed by Rowie on the fence on its outside, Casino Dancer, and tucked away back or behind those was Iggy Pop, and running last on the fence was Centre Desert after missing a kick from the outside from barrier 11. But when they were at the 1,000 metre mark, those 4 runners were a good 6 to maybe 7 lengths behind the other 8 runners. By the time they had reached the 600 metre mark, they had caught them up. And as I say, the second horse made up a mile of ground, Casino Dancer, only had the 50 kilos on his back with the 3 off Winona Constant, and as I say, only went down by 0.2 of a length. And the runner that sat in 5th position on the back of the winner was the top weight, Full of Spirit. It was only beaten 0.7 of a length, but more or less never going to win. But by the same token, as I say, run this race again and you would get a few different results. Race 7, we saw on the screen 109.1 in the marketplace, 9 less only the neat 100. These were the flux. Express Power 15, out to 26 back into 20, or even 19, but back to 21. Holy Delusion, 7 out to 9 into 650. Medusa's Miss, $13 out to 16, back into 13. Dream Empress were the owners of the second Avery. Please step forward. We put it up $4, $4, 3 to 1 bar at Dream Empress. It led, went very ordinarily, $4 out to $5.50. Christy Lee, we put it up the 15 to 8 favourite, $2.90. Now, at one stage, it got out to the 350 and 360, but was extremely well backed by the pros, back into $3.30, $3.20, hard to get. But after a couple of runners were backed, it got back out to start 350, very hard to lay towards the end of betting. Boozy Rouge, now, here, Boozy Rouge, this is a big difference in the flux. The flux here on Boozy Rouge, say $8 out to $8 out to $11, or $8 out to $10, or not even that. I think it was $8 out to $8 out to $9. $8 out to $9. Boozy Rouge was it was the flux. $16 into $11. Try that. 16 into 11, not 7 out to 11. 16 into 11. Boozy Rouge. I laid it 15 to 16 to lose a few thousand. I laid it 14, 13. It ran a fair race. The next runner was Lady Ladouce. It was 60 into 50. The next runner was Urgent Bells. $10 out to 14, back into 13. And the bottom one, Pompidou, $5 out to $6.50, back into $5.50. The race it was run this way. Dream Empress led. On its outside was Lady Ladouce. There was a length between them, and there was another 2 lengths back to Medusa's Miss, and then the rest of the field tailing those. It was in 5th position. Christy Lee, the pumper, just easing off heels, going very sweetly coming to the turn. When they flattened out, he hadn't really gone for it, balanced it up, coming from last and going through a gap in between Empress, Express Power, and also Pompidou was the second horse, Holy Delusions, who, as I said, was very well back from $9 into $6.50, even $6 late. It made up a lot of ground after missing the kick slightly to go down by 1.3 lengths. First and second in that race were by far the best runs. We got to race 8, 107.8 on the screen. In the marketplace, only 98%. So another race where there was 9%. These were the flux, 9% difference. Cup of Tea went from 13 out to 21. Honorius, 13 out to 20, back into 19. Bagman, 13 out to 26. Tromso, $7 out to $13, back into $9.50. Hoi Lonnie, 13 out to 26. Star of Octagonal, 26 out to 61. Mighty Lucky, $8 out to $9, back into $8. Darcy Be Good, 26 out to 31, back into 19. Houseman, $3.50 out to $4, back into $3.30. Starting favourite. Then we had Queenstown, $3.50, plenty of it. Best Fluck, most probably was towards the end of betting, $3.20, but $3.50 into at one stage $3, back out to $3.20. Fulgar, 16 out to 26, back into 21, and the bottom one, Top Rankin, who I laid 20,100 win and place, or even more than that. I laid a lot more than that. It was 100 out to 300. Now, it led Tromso coming across from barrier 12 in a field of 12. He was able to velodrome very easily. Jovial Josh Parr find the lead. The Avery, or the second pick, as it turned out, Queenstown, looked at him all the way. It looked at the pair. Darcy Be Good tucked in behind them. On the fence was Honorius, who finished up running second. And on his outside was the favourite Houseman. Copped a little bit of a check in the run. But the winner, after getting the easy lead and flattening out, was able to have plenty, well, a good kick in it, and it fought on extremely well to beat Houseman, who nosed out. It never left the fence, as I said, from barrier 4, whatever it was. Houseman, Honorius, I should say Honorius, who was resuming from a spell today, nosed out the favourite right on the line for second position, and there was only 0.8 between first and second when they hit the line, and another a nose away in third position, beaten 0.9 was Queenstown. The a couple of runners got trapped wide in the run. One of them was Mighty Lucky, who raced wide and pulled its head off, and it was also wide in the run. Hoi Lonnie, after settling back, took off mid-race and was trapped wide, and it dropped out towards the end of the race after being a little bit used up, although it was on the back of Mighty Lucky coming down the side. That was about the meeting. If you were wire netting, I hope you had some luck. Good evening.